Jimtown area. He's working his way up to the mayor of Jimtown when Mr. Kroom steps down. He's going to take over, I think. And then you have Mike Reiser, the mayor of the region. These two are going to be talking trash about their pick'ems this year because they're always going back and forth. Caleb, how many points are you going to beat Mike by?
Probably -2. I've been the last 3 years.
Caleb made me step my pick'ems game up though. Like I felt like I would just, I'd pick some upsets and I'd be like, I'm just gonna do it. And then I keep seeing this guy, Caleb Spires. I'm like, all right, I gotta try to get serious again. And then even we posted on Twitter, like Sprunger started getting crazy good too.
Yeah, Sprunger has been coming on strong the last few years.
Oh yes, it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna sneak another state title out of my hat this year.
Yeah, I used to do like a bet, like a $5 bet with Zach Pearson because Pearson used to be really good at it too before he left. So we would always put these bets on these things. Like I would pick how much better at Newcastle I could do than he could do at East Chicago. But I think I just did better semi-state rankings, so it was easy for him.
Yeah.
Somehow I'm always at the top of the Newcastle, and I never see any of those kids. I've won the Newcastle 2 or 3 times in the last few years.
It's easier when you have no stake in them.
Yeah.
You have your hometown guys that you've seen, and you're like, oh yeah, that guy's really good. I got to pick him to win, and then everyone else, you're like one of 3 people that pick him.
I like to call it the Bobby Joe Maldonado. He tells me all the time his guys are going to be top 5. But I like that, man. He has confidence in his guys.
Oh, yeah. All coaches should. Yep. So we're going to start with the East Chicago semi-state. Just kind of go over the brackets, any matches that kind of stick out to us, anything that, we see that. And then, I don't know, Caleb, did you do your East Chicago picks or did you just do Chicago, Fort Wayne?
I have the East Chicago. They're on my phone right now.
Okay.
Here, I got some good pick'em advice. Anyone tuning in that want to hear this pick'em advice, don't tune your bracket in today. Wait till Thursday. So much stuff can happen. Then it messed up your whole bracket. Now you're losing points. That's good advice right there.
And just as a hint, I think from the past, I think Mike and Caleb don't show their whole hand on when they tell them the picks here. So you
have to go you waffle in politics. You don't want to tell who you're gonna pick, and they have to see these guys Saturday, and they'll be like, "Oh, I get Mario Traficante again. He came up and told me I was underranking him. Terrible."
Yep. Are you gonna be on your on the radio on Thursday again?
Yep. Thursday mornings now with Jed in the region. So I'm doing that, and then we'll do the live broadcast Saturday. I was just telling you in the pre-show we got the band back together from the preseason open. We're gonna get Rhodey to come in.
Oh, nice. Got a little region love there. So no, it'll be a good weekend. East Chicago always a tough semi-state, and I really haven't even looked too much over the brackets. Been more worried about my kids and stuff, but there's a lot of great matches here. Mike, I'll just go down, kind of highlight some of the matches I'm seeing here. You can add to them. Couple of ticket round matches, Jacob Moran and Andrew Sinkovic's.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Sinkovic's had a real good year, but Moran is pretty darn tough, to say the least.
Yeah, I would really – and I think Andrew's really – I think he's really good. He had a nice win over Cotty this summer, so he could wrestle with the top guys. But, man, Jake Moran looked really good in the regional final at Hobart. I thought that was going to be a shootout like it was at the DAC with Martin Cruz, and he really dominated. He had a new wrinkle to his game. He's in there learning some leg wrestling too because he was really tough on top.
That's good. Down lower, you see Colin Regan from Frontier. He was a state was he the champ last year at semi-state?
No, Eli Hickman was a champ at 120. Okay. We'll get to that one because that's not a great draw for him either.
Yeah, but Regan's one of those guys that kind of flew on the radar last year, and he's back in the semi-state undefeated at 106. So he could be definitely one to watch. And then the lower bracket has probably the most interesting matchup: Jace Alexander from Wawa C and Martin Cruz. I I do. They wrestled probably this year, didn't
No, Martin was up at 13 when they wrestled early on. He wrestled Maryville's backup. But, man, Jace had a really nice season. Martin Cruz is tough. That one's going to be exciting because the Alexander boys can go with a lot of guys, and they like to put up points too.
Yeah. Any other comments you see on this bracket? Any picks? Who's your pick to anyone to watch it? We need to watch that we are going to overlook.
I like those two ticket round matches. Obviously, Mark Rodriguez is a tough senior for Hammond. He looked pretty good Saturday. I think, not to be like in a disrespectful sense to the Logansport Regional, there's always those upsets. Colin Regan's really good. He was undefeated last year's Frontier State first state qualifier. Sam Hine for Lafayette Harrison had a nice season, 40-5. So Regan obviously got that win to put him in that bracket with Giovanni Diaz. But if I'm picking 4, I think Giovanni Diaz has only lost to Martin Cruz, Moran, Regan, and I'm going to take the 2 over the 1 there with Martin Cruz.
Sounds good. Caleb, what's your take on this weight?
Yeah, it's pretty much the Moran show, more than likely. Bad draw for Sinkovics because I think he could have gotten out in another quarter bracket.
Yeah.
Jacob Moran. Martin Cruz looked really good at the Al Smith. I don't know. What was the score between him and Moran at regionals?
I think it ended up being like 10-3.
Oh, wow. Impressive.
Yeah, Moran looked really good on top, which he's always really good on his feet. I think he's one of the better wrestlers on his feet in the state. But if you can add in the way he was legging, and Martin Cruz is tough to ride, like he's going to be a tough out for anybody.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good wrestlers there. Moving on, 113. Just doing my little look over this bracket. This bracket's loaded from top to bottom, and I don't think there's really too many easy matches for anybody. Up top, you have Ricky Hegudis. I'll pull the mic and I'll butcher a name or two.
That's how I do it, man.
And then he gets the winner, Brendan Mark and Jake Armstrong. That should be a pretty good match right there. That's a pretty solid quarter bracket. Andreas Moreno having a great season, undefeated, but he does have a guy just in the first round, Juan Maldonado. That name is synonymous. You can't overlook anyone with that last name, especially in that round.
Hegedus. That's what Kyle sent me phonetically.
Hegedus. Okay. Going down, Evan Light and Jose Diaz. That should be a good one. A Light. If you haven't seen him, he's pretty great, pretty good story. He doesn't have any feet, so he has special wrestling shoes made up, and he's a very tough wrestler. Obviously, putting a Penn kid in the ticket round, they're always ready for that moment. And then going down the bottom, you have Danny Tolan, who was a state qualifier last year, and then that should be an interesting bracket with Kenyon Patrick and the other guys in there. Mike, we'll start with Caleb. Any comments? Any guys that you're watching?
Moreno also looked very good at the Al Smith when I saw him earlier this year. I think he got this bracket. The quarter bracket that I think looks the best is the Hegedus and then the winner of Mark and Armstrong. Mark has looked good every time I've seen him this year, and Armstrong, I believe, was a state qualifier last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so even just to kick it off, Ricky Hegedus and Ian Nelson was the DAC final. So you're already starting off with a tough match. Ian Nelson's one of Martin Cruz's only losses. Ricky wrestled Brendan Mark this year at the Tri-Coff. He pinned him. Jake Armstrong was show-stopping last year. I did not think that Jake Armstrong was going to have the showing he did at semi-state last year. He knocked off Ty Haskins from Portage first round, who I was impressed with, and then beat Sean Hollis, who going into that round, if you would have asked me, I thought Sean Hollis was the absolute favorite to win the semi-state at 106. So dangerous wrestler. Yeah. Trevor Penrod, I haven't seen him since early on, but He wrestled high at the Al Smith, right? He was like a 32 at the Al Smith, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he
He
was.
was.
I believe my kid actually wrestled him.
Yeah.
Now that you say something.
So
Yes,
he's
he
probably
did.
grown. It's probably a grown man right there. No, I haven't seen him, so I have no clue. But Moreno's been on fire. Like you figure you run it out, you win the Al Smith, and really kind of dominate. He looked really good. He goes into that Hobart tournament, bumps up to wrestle Triana and Brock Peel, 2 top 10 guys at 120 pounds, beats both of them in overtime, beats Jose Diaz to give Jose Diaz his first loss, and then beats him again at the regional. So that kid's been on fire, and he's just all offense. Evan Light, Jose Diaz was that was at Elkhart they wrestled, right? Early on, it was like a 4-3 or 6-4 match. And I haven't seen Kenyon Package. He's been in the mix. I know, but that Andreas Russi, Lake Station, that kid's really good. He's wrestled Hedges pretty tough the last couple of weeks. Danny told him right off the bat, the winner of that, and Patrick's going to be a good match. So
what are your picks here?
I got. Are we doing like an order, or are we just doing the? You want them in order? Just the 4
You can do whatever. It's up to you.
I'm just giving 4 qualifiers. I don't want anyone picking the same thing as me. I got Tolan, Diaz, Moreno, and Hegedus.
Sounds good. What's your take there, Caleb? Who's your picks?
I got Hegedus, Moreno, Diaz, and Tolan.
Nice. Look at us. That's how you win pick'ems.
So we'll go on to 120. Pretty. Let's see. What are we seeing here? I haven't even looked at it. You have Triana, Trey McCartney.
Yeah.
Second round. That's an ugly one. Then you have Bautista and even Chris Schuler take it round. Also, Schuler was a state qualifier out of Fort Wayne last year, getting a little taste of the region this year. That should be an interesting match. Eli Hickman, Brock Peely. Ooh, man. Ouch. Yeah. And then the top quarter bracket's kind of a pick 'em there. There's a lot of guys that, I mean, the guy with the most losses is the champ. So that tells you a lot about that quarter bracket.
Yeah. I think so. When we were doing the broadcast Saturday, Lakaska said, "Hey, Hickman just beat McCartney. Like, what do you think?" I said, "I hope that doesn't draw into the Triana and Peel bracket, because in the semi-state rankings, those guys are all towards the top. Obviously, Hickman was a semi-state champ last year. McCartney was a state qualifier 2 years ago. He had some bad luck last year. Kind of a rough call go against him. And Batista's been in the mix. So I think Batista's kind of been there. Schuler's been there. And then Vince Sparrow's come on late. And I think I always say this, and I really do believe it. I'm not saying just because we're on air. I think if Penn wrestles you early, like, they make some of the best adjustments in the state. Like, Penn will find a way. I always think back to Kenny Hughes and Joey Mamalenti. I remember thinking, like, man, like, there's no way Kenny Hughes will ever lose to Joey Mamalenti. He just, like, destroyed him, rolled him. And then Penn just got enough time under their belt, and then Mamalenti beat him. And then what furthered the gap. So it was, like, one of those things, like, I don't know if they've wrestled in these guys. I doubt they wrestled maybe early on as Esparta. Kaiser's tough. He's a freshman from Chesterton, maybe at the Al Smith. So I have to look at the records. But if Vince Sparrow's wrestled those guys, I would take Vince Sparrow.
Yeah, definitely. Should be. There's some great matches there. What's your take there, Caleb?
Man, there's some rough take it round matches for Hickman and McCartney.
Yeah, that bracket might have just won you those tacos there, Mike.
I know.
That's not how win it, or that bracket's going to win it or lose it for you. That's what's going to happen.
I think McCartney could actually give Triana a good match.
Oh yeah, I think stylistically they're very similar.
I have Triana making it out and beating Peel in the finals again.
Yep.
But I also think that Hickman and McCartney are going to come to wrestle, and there is a chance they could probably win.
Yeah, and we are on the board. Obviously, you know, Wrestling Scholar, we've gone back and forth, and I think with Harrison stepping up their schedule, yeah, they've taken more losses. Those records aren't coming in, 50-0.
Yeah.
And so you seek out those matches. Trey McCartney has 6 losses, but they're not 6. They went to Ohio. I know he lost to Peel tight. He lost to Hickman. So I think that it's going to be good. I have Peel, Triana. I haven't seen enough of Schuler, Batista, and I think Ethan Kaiser is who I picked. Yeah, I picked Ethan Kaiser.
That's my 4.
Jeez. Everyone's just going to copy off your guys' brackets.
That's the one if you want to mix it up. That's the old Mike saying, you know what? Eli Hickman won our semi-state last year. Like, I'm going to take him. And then that's why Caleb snuck in here and started beating me because I started picking these upsets against my rankings. Eli Hickman is really tough. I know he's close with the Hugheses also, so I'm sure they'll give me a text saying I'm sleeping on him again. I slept on him last year.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna. I mean, you got to trust your rankings, don't you? If you don't.
Yeah. That's one of those things. We texted that the other day. It was like, I think people think that's my pick'ems, but I don't get to pick 6 from Evansville if I have 6 guys in Evansville ranked.
Yeah. Moving on, 126, top quarter bracket, Evan Berg and Skylar Gomez. Gomez has he's probably been in the ticker around about 7 straight years, hasn't he?
I think so. This is his 15th year.
Yes. So. He's 35, has 4 kids. No, he's the type of kid that I know I've seen that name in the bracket like every year. And he comes in, he's solid. He's placed about 46 times at the Al Smith. He's been at the Al Smith more than Al Smith has.
Yeah. He was there when I was just the Mishawaka Invitational.
Yes. No, he just seems like he's one of those kids that's been around, usually it's from those schools that you don't usually hear a lot from, but he seems like he's been around forever. I know he's a pretty tough wrestler. Looks like he has a good draw there. He didn't draw into Demeen. You have Demeen right there in the next quarter bracket. And then Daniel Mora Diaz from Hammond Clark. I don't know how good he is. Michael probably be able to comment on that. Kalen Kelly, Ty Watson, Zane DeVault. That's a pretty much a pick 'em right there. Then you have Colin Porter gets the fun draw. The 2 state placers, him and Braxton Alexander in the ticket round. That's brutal. You see the other brackets. There's 2 guys, actually 3 with state medals, and 2 of them draw each other in the ticket round. So that's kind of a fun draw there.
And this is kind of what I posted to the board. I think seeding this avoids this. Like, if you can, it's not hard to seed 4 guys. Like, you look at this, okay, cool. Colin Pointer's your 1. He's a state semifinalist. Tanner Demeen's your 2, and then they draw him the 3-4 bracket. Now you're getting a legit 4. Now either Colin Pointer, a senior, could be going home, who's a state semifinalist, or Braxton Alexander, who's a state medalist, who beat Colin Pointer last year in the semifinals.
Yeah, that's brutal right there.
Yeah,
that's a Fort Wayne type draw.
Yeah, I know.
What's going on?
That's why we've been falling behind now. I'm gonna have to talk to the rat and get this going.
You gotta talk to your buddy Robert. You gotta call him up. I bet he'll probably be texting you right now. I bet
we're feuding right now.
Because he went with someone else for the bracket show this weekend.
I know. I don't think anyone got that. I think everyone was like, "Oh, look at Mike. He's really happy about that." But I sent it in our group chat. I tweeted that out a month ago.
Yeah. No, I heard he said something about it last year, and I was like, "Hey, we can help. I got Mike. He has good hair. I mean, he has a great guy that cuts his hair."
Yeah, he keeps that line clean. It's tough.
Caleb, if you need you actually have hair. I don't, so you might want to talk to Mike.
You should probably get something done about this soon. Yeah,
Mike has a guy.
I got a guy. It takes about 3 days to get in, so you got to set an appointment today. You'll get in on Friday.
Great clips it is.
Great clips it is.
Online check-in.
Yeah, I mean, the 4, like you said, Skylar Gomez is just a grinder, and he's gotten better every year. I really like that. I thought that was a kid early on. I know he was in the preseason magazine. I think he's going to advance. Mora Diaz, his brother, wrestles at Wabash. He was a state qualifier, Chris Diaz. He, got his second loss to Pointer. So, but Tanner Demeen, he's been there. He's been to the show. And I think this is actually his best chance since the old Fort Wayne days for him to be in the finals of semi-state. I don't know. Was he in the finals of semi-state for you guys?
Yes, I believe. Didn't he win it?
Did he?
I thought
he was. When he placed at state, he was a fourth out of Fort Wayne. And then the next year,
he was at Penn too, right? Or he was there with you guys the second year, right? In Northwoods.
Yeah,
he got fourth last year. He got hurt. Remember, he got hurt.
Yeah.
His sophomore year, it was Watson, Braden Curtis in the finals.
Yep. His sophomore year, he got third, and then he was a fourth. He was a 4/1.
Was it that was the year that Fort Wayne took out EC, right?
No.
He beat Kanan Schaefer. That's who he beat first round.
Okay. South Dearborn.
Yep. And then lost to Tyler Mills.
That was a crazy match, too, if I remember it.
Yeah. That's right. Thought I was wrong there. Yes. No, he was so he placed, and he has never been in the finals.
Well, it looks like I would say he's the favorite right now to get into the finals. Him and Gomez should be a good one, but don't sleep on Daniel Moore Diaz. Josh Wade's also been there 4 times. I think a guy that's a sleeper pick. I know sometimes you look at a bracket and you see like Zane DeVault 37-5. Those are 5 good losses for Plymouth. He wrestled Jacob Maldonado tough early on in the year. Him and Kelly should be a nice match. I mean, Ty Watson was a semi-state qualifier at 32 last year, cutting down. And then I got Colin Pointer. I think he's looked really good. I've really been impressed with him. So I got Pointer, Kelly, Demeen, and Gomez.
Any different picks there, Caleb?
Pointer, Demeen, Kelly, Gomez.
Look at that. We're gonna have to differ. We'll differ at one of these. I know it. This one will differ at because this first quarter bracket is brutal.
Ooh, yes, it is. Yeah, that first quarter bracket's ugly. Sean Hollis, Victor Spikes, Jeremiah Brooks, and Reese Rodriguez. Rodriguez took his first loss last week.
Yeah, he completely broke his tooth out.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Completely out, the front tooth. And there's not many things I feel like should stop a match unless a bone's sticking out. But if these things get messed up, I'm calling off work. This is getting fixed before I go in there. And and like the kid wanted to wrestle, but like his braces held it in. They're like, we can't cut it. Like, we're not going to cut your braces to get this tooth out so you can compete.
Nice.
So his like tooth was completely out, held in by a bracket of his braces.
Wow. So it broke out even when he had a mouthpiece in, I assume then.
Oh, he wore no mouthpiece.
Oh. So that would have been a penalty point from what I know, but I'll stay out of that. But yes.
I'm sure this week he'll have his mouthpiece in.
Yes, I'm sure he will.
He'll probably be upset.
Yes. Yeah, that's a crazy quarter bracket. I was going to ask what happened to him. So I did see lost by injury default.
Yeah.
And going down even, Cody Batrone. Batrone never qualified for state, correct?
No.
Okay, he's been in the mix every year. You have Jacob Maldonado, Gabe Weeks right there. Manzona Bryant looks like he drew into no one got a death draw there for him. And then Alec Luna 16-15. Wow.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
There's a lot of losses in that bottom half of the bracket except for Manzona.
Yeah.
They all have double-digit losses, so those are all pretty much pick'ems right there.
We were saying in the broadcast, like Alec Luna wasn't even with 500. He got over 500 with his championship win, and he probably has 50 like ridiculously good losses. Like, he's been in the lineup the whole year, and it's not like they move him out. You're talking about a guy that has to go to team state and compete against the top guys. Brecksville compete against the top guys. So Alec Luna probably got 15 pretty solid losses. DAC schedule.
Oh yeah. DAC schedule and Portage. I'd have to look at it real quick on our on the Genius rankings, but I'm sure they have a top.
I think they were 1, right?
They might have. I wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna say that offhand, but I know they're top 2 or 3 usually.
Yeah, they're at the Trikoff. So he's wrestling 5 at the Trikoff. So like when people see, and then we were just saying that like if you're just a guy and you're just trending in, you're like, oh man, like this kid has 15 losses. He bumped up to 38, lost to Troy Johnson, who's at the semi-state. He lost to Perry Meridian at the Harvest. He lost to Azure Ursery. Lost to Alex Mosconi. Colin Taylor's in that bracket. He's 2 lost to him. Jaden Reynolds 2-0 from Avon. Eli Dickens, Drew Kreiser.
No, they actually had the second ranked strength of schedule.
Who has number 1?
Brownsburg.
Nick's gonna get on me about that. Sure.
You're in trouble.
We're breaking up right now.
Yeah. Can't dump Nick. Nick can't get dumped more than once.
No, hey, come on. Hey, we got a man down. So if you're just tuning in, it's your first time watching the show, we're gonna do a Friday night speed dating. I'm gonna be the host. We got 15 seconds with everybody on the board. If there's fake single, we're gonna find some dates.
Yep. Caleb, there you go.
Count me in.
You and Nick, we're gonna find you guys.
Except for I told
future
Nick,
ex-wives.
I posted that on Twitter and then I tweeted that and then turned around like the first like 6 people that liked it were all dudes. It was like, this isn't a good sign. Yes.
Ratio.
Those 2 top quarter brackets are ridiculous. Cody Bethone is really good. Like I know I give Harrison a hard time. I know Wrestling Scholar probably thinks I hate him, but he wrestled really well at Indiana Matt. I thought that he beat Matt Lee there, which, obviously that's a great win. He's undefeated. Anytime you can find 39 people that you can beat and not lose anybody is usually pretty good. Yeah. Jacob Maldonado's tough, 11 tough losses is just, he has the ability to wrestle at that level. It's just, does he show up and compete at that level? Because Gabe Weeks is no pushover. Gabe Weeks is one of Sean House's 5 losses.
Yeah. Wow. I was looking at Batrone's IPO. He lost first round, won 6 straight. Even beat David Taylor.
Wow.
But then he rebounded and went to the Yargan and dominated.
Yes.
So the 4 I'll take here. Reese Rodriguez finds a way at the semi-state. Like, to me, I think I've picked against him 2 years. Maybe I should pick against him again. I like Ruben. Jermaine Brooks is really good. But Reese Rodriguez always finds a way. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the finals with Manzona Bryant.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Bryant's had a heck of a season already, kind of quietly. I know Culver doesn't get to the high-end events sometimes, but he's pretty legit from everything I've seen.
He's the real deal.
He'll go upper body. He'll rather throw you than know you sometimes, and then he'll stick with the conventional leg attacks and things like that. So very exciting wrestler and probably one of the coolest names in the state.
Yeah. Let's get him under the lights. I want to hear Kevin Whitehead do that.
Yes. Caleb, what's your thoughts here?
Got Colin Taylor, Cody Batrone, Reese Rodriguez, and Manzona Bryant.
I think I have 3 of those. I'm going to go with my guys, the Maldonados, pulling that one out. Sleeper pick.
Uh-oh. Write that down, everybody. 138. Pretty good match right off the bat. Top Preston Reisner. I don't know. I had a guy in college was spelled the same way, and it's Reisner.
I think
Jake Burford. Then you have Chris Rump. He has pretty much no one drew a totally death draw there. Then going down, Adam Davis suffered his first loss this past weekend, and then Dombowski, and probably that bottom quarter is pretty even there. Looks like everyone got fairly well. If you'd seen it, I guess that it looks pretty well. Everyone got separated. There's no glaring, ugly ticket round matches.
138 was one of my favorite weights to rank in the semi-stakes. I think that's one of the deepest. I think Chris Rumpf is ridiculous. And I say this all the time, when he wrestles his match, I don't think there's a guy in the state that can wrestle with him. If you go out there and try to go out with and like, hey, I'm gonna go takedowns with this guy, it's gonna be a long day. There's not a lot of guys in our state that can do that in his weight class. I mean, obviously Brayton Lee and Mason Paris are on another planet. Like you said, Risner and Burford's a good one. Jake Burford's had a nice season. Isaiah Muhammad from Wheeler had a nice season also. He's had a nice season so far. He had a couple tight matches. I know he's a big time on the board. I like his dad. He's a real cool dude. Drew Linder is tough. I like Troy Johnson. He's a semi-state qualifier. I think he's a real good wrestler from Chesterton, and he came down a weight class from last year. I think that could be an upset for a 4/1. I don't see a ton of 4/1s, but I think Drew Linder from McCutcheon could be on upset alert. Isaiah Watts is a tough wrestler, 31-5. I know Hammond High doesn't get the love that some of the other teams do, but he beat Malik Hoover this year before Malik Hoover went to 60 and he went to 35. So if Adam Davis doesn't really come, that dude's a really good wrestler. So, I still pick Adam Davis in that bracket. I picked the Ursary early on as the Maryville sleeper to get a medal, and these guys keep giving me a hard time. We're in a group chat. They call him the Prince. His name means African Prince. He said that in the paper now, so I feel vindicated. But Ian Dembowski, man, he's been on the scene for so long. He's really good. He beat him pretty bad at the DAC. I got Dembowski, Davis, Rumpf, and Jake Burford.
Sounds good. Caleb, what's your thoughts? Anything different?
Yes, one of them. I have Reisner over Burford.
Ooh, gotta go with your South Bend love.
He grinds, man. That kid's a grinder.
Yeah.
He looks mean, right?
He's wrestled Gimson very close 3 different times.
That's interesting. Moving on, 145. At top 145 has been one of those weights that just there's been it's been a revolving door of guys in the rankings every week. I'm pretty certain East Chicago's been the same way. You got Jordan Douglas from Attica, which I don't know much about him. He has 1 loss on the season. Then Eli Pack, Cole Cervantes. It's a pretty good, solid quarter bracket there with a lot of. I mean, that one's pretty wide open. Tough freshman from Chesterton, Brock Ellis. Another tough freshman, Tyler Turley. Then you got the grizzled veteran, Gavin Banks.
That one's getting the most heat on that East Chicago page, right?
Yeah.
Chicago coach. These guys are going back and forth.
Yeah. Then you have LaPlace, returning state placer. Le'Veon Bell from North White got his that's not a good draw for him. And then you got Casper McIntosh on the bottom bracket. Isaiah Farrote, not from Belmont, I assume. First round. Somehow he got out of Adams County, and I don't think many Farrotes get out of Adams County. So you got the 2 state placers in the same half bracket, which is, obviously we always want the finalists and the 2 best guys in the finals, but those guys are definitely heads above the rest. What's your comments here? We'll start with Caleb. You can make a few comments in your picks.
Okay. That second quarter bracket, the main one. I got Douglas. I checked his track page. He's actually had a few decent wins, if I remember right. So it's not the whole 42-1 thing isn't just a fluke with a bad schedule. But Cervantes and Pack both. I don't know who's gonna win. That one or the Gavin Banks Tyler Turley. Those are 2 first-round matches that could very well both affect the ticket round as well. Yeah, that top side's actually pretty unpredictable. There's a lot of different outcomes. At the bottom, it's definitely LaPlace and McIntosh.
Yeah, I agree with the bottom 2 for sure, and that's a tough semifinal. Yeah, Jordan Douglas had a really nice freshman-sophomore state last year where he beat Hayden Laurie from Shenandoah, and he beat Christopher Wilkinson from Mount Vernon. So I don't think that 4 – I don't know where his ones to. I don't know off the top of my head. Eli Paxton, Ohio kid. That's the kid that came over. He's a freshman. We thought he was in the rankings a little bit. I thought, he was going to be there. with Manzona, and you see Manzona come over from Ohio, you're like, oh, another Ohio kid coming in, cool. Let's put him really high. And 7 losses, he's still really tough. I've been really impressed with Cole Cervantes the last couple of weeks. I have him qualified out of that quarter bracket. That next one's tough. Gavin Banks is tough. Like I put that on there. I think people are overlooking him a little bit, looking towards this Tyler Turley, Brock Ellis kind of RWA, rematch. I know they've wrestled back and forth. I think Ellis has won the last 2. Obviously, Turley's wrestled a nice season. I wouldn't be shocked if Gavin Banks were to take that quarter bracket and kind of spoil that party for being a senior year.
Douglas, just looking it up on track, his one loss is to Jaron Glass of Madison Grant. It was by DQ. He pulled a Erica McGill, got the one blemish.
Come on, don't put my guy on blast like that. You weren't there, Joe. You weren't there.
So, I was just looking through. I was trying to find that. It's pretty hard to find with all those wins there. Anyway, so did you do your picks? I was trying to find that.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cole Cervantes, Tyler Turley, Jacob Laplace, and Casper McIntosh.
Those bottom ones are pretty easy to pick.
Maybe they're upsets, man. That's why we live. That's why we do this thing.
Yeah, no. 152, over halfway. I know. Certain Fort Wayne guys waiting for us to talk about his weight. We'll do 106 last. 152, Noah Lamore, Aaron Griggs, ticket rounder. That should be a good one. And then Aaron Brook from Culver Academies, who only has 2 losses. That might be a sleeper to look at. You got Hunter Rubble from McCutcheon with 1 loss, and Joe Walker, Michael Hunter there. Walker's kind of with 10 losses. I mean, he's had some 10 solid losses. He's capable to beat a lot of guys, so you definitely can't overlook him. Then going down, you got state placer Graham Calhoun, and then Donnell Washington Jr., who's his first try at the Indiana State Series. So some just like 145, 2 guys that have some state medals. Obviously, Washington's from another state. Lamore has a state medal too, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yes. So we got 3 guys with state medals here, fairly well separated. Mike, what's your take here?
I'm gonna take Washington in the bottom, Calhoun. Noah Lamore and Griggs are 1-1 against each other. Lamore beat him in the duel. Griggs pinned him at the DAC.
Ooh.
So this is kind of the rubber match. And Joseph Walker, that's the guy. What was the guy? Who was my guy from Homestead? Drake Rhodes? Is that what his name was?
No, Wyro.
No. A couple years ago, he wrestled everybody.
Yeah.
Drake Rhodes, right? He wrestled everybody. He was the guy like I used for the rankings to kind of measure where guys were at. Like he probably had 10 losses that year, and they're all against like guys that were in the rankings. It was like, okay, I can kind of see where Drake wrestled these guys. That's Joseph Walker this year. Joseph Walker has 10 legit losses. You can go up and down that guys and say, oh, he wrestled, such and such here. He's really good. Look at his match against Brayton Lee at the Indiana Mat Open. That dude's a goer. I got Joseph Walker getting out of that quarter bracket. And coin toss, I have no clue. I'm going to go whoever Caleb doesn't go. If he picks no more, I'm going to go Griggs. If he goes Griggs, I'm going to go Lamore.
All right, you're going Griggs then. I got Lamore.
Hey, I ride or die with Maryville right now. These are my guys.
All right.
Goodness.
I like Noah too. Noah's a real good kid.
Yeah, like you guys said, Joe Walker's 10 losses are about as good of 10 losses as you can have coming into semi-state. He has wrestled some top competition.
Yeah, I'm going through some of the losses right now, and they're all like 1 or 2 point. He lost 14-12 to Washington at Gary Burkhart. He lost to Calhoun 9-4. Elliot Rogers 5-3. Washington beat him twice. Yeah. Lost to Lamore 6-4. He's like 1 point away from Derek Blueball 8-7. Logan Macklin 10-9. Blueball again. Jeez, Pete's. He has everybody.
That was good, right?
Yeah.
That's the guy you want to put him against.
Xander Stroud, 8-7, 14-12 Washington. Yeah. Just there isn't many guys in that 152-pound rankings that he hasn't wrestled.
Yeah, and I would be willing to bet he wrestled Indiana Met preseason open. He lost to Brayton Lee 14-7. That might be the closest guy that Brayton's wrestled in the state of Indiana this year, score-wise.
Yes.
He beat Calhoun at the preseason.
Yeah, 5-2, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, he's definitely one that you can't sleep on. You see double-digit losses, and it's always like the who are your losses to, and you start naming them, and people are just like, okay.
Yeah, he hasn't had that like Mike Reiser that he lost to some nobody. I didn't want to use anybody's real name. I was going to use Caleb, but I thought that would have been inappropriate.
Caleb has a win over Mark Hall, so that's.
I seen the video.
That was record.
So moving on, 160. Here's probably the biggest death draw. I don't know, right here you have Dante Colza, Diego Lemley ticket round, returning runner-up. Colza was a qualifier last year, right?
Qualifier, yep.
I guess it's pretty big match there. And then you go down the other quarter bracket where Lemley could have drawn was a little bit different. You got Oscar Cash and Zach Nugget, who obviously Portage with 12 losses is like anyone else with about 0.
Yeah, he was overtime with Colza at the sectional too.
Yeah. And then you have Malik Hoover, 10 losses, another, obviously Maryville DAC schedule. They wrestle a good schedule. And then Ethan Adkins from Lafayette Jeff. Mike, what's your take here? Obviously, we got just like we did at 120, we have kind of that, or 126, one of those weights where you have that ugly draw.
26. This one I'm going to go. This is the one that might win or this is going to win or lose me the pick'ems, and it's for East Chicago. I'm going to take, Colza and Lemley's going to be good. I'm going to go with Lemley just on state experience. He was a runner-up, obviously. He's had a good go. He has 4 losses. He lost to Washington. He's lost to Clayson Mappis twice and Cash. That's it. Dante's had a nice season, 31. He lost to Cash. He's lost to a couple guys at the Al Smith. I got Lemley. I'm taking a 4/1 here. I'm going to take Cody Snook at Calumet and Kevin Hooley. I'm going to take Snook to advance out of that one.
Ooh, going hometown. Loving.
Hey, sometimes you got to, go with your heart. Oscar Cash.
This is where you're gaining on him, Caleb. Rest weight right here.
And then Ethan Atkins, 40-4. He has a couple losses to Owen Conklin, who kind of got that tougher draw. He's in there with Snook and Kessinger, but he has a win over Aaron Griggs, and I think Aaron Griggs is really good. I'm going to take Ethan Atkins over Malik Hoover for a ticket there.
Oh, wow. That's a good that's an interesting pick there. Obviously, usually you're picking the Maryville guy over the Lafayette Jeff. Caleb, what's your winning picks here? This is where you're sealing the deal.
All right. Cash and Lemley. Got Hoover and Ben Kensinger.
Nice.
Although I did kind of want to pick Cody Snook in that one as well. But now I kind of have to pick Kensinger. So.
Yep. Oh, I mean, you're just stone's throw away from Mishawaka. You gotta love them there.
You guys go to the same grocery store. You have to see these guys.
Oh, I see them in the grocery store all the time.
170. The big name here is Zach Fator. Has a tougher draw here with Mark Bueller, who's had some good wins from Wheeler. Wheeler's obviously doing pretty good with their program. They have a lot of guys we've been mentioning here. The top bracket, you do see a familiar name, Jason Streck. Obviously, Sean has eaten a lot of his food because he only weighs 170. Speaking of if you live where the Strecks do, your grocery store is doing pretty well. Okay,
those are big boys.
Yes, I would not want to know what I always tease their mom about how much their grocery bill is a month. I can't even imagine. Probably more than my mortgage.
You guys get good housing prices out there in the fort, right?
Yeah. I could probably if I bet the Strecks could live in a twice as big house if they just didn't have the kids to feed. So yeah, Streck up there. Mario Traficani he's qualified last year.
He's underranked.
He told me dead to my face, and I have a lot of respect for that guy.
Yeah,
it'd be easy to do it on your Twitter, not to me, but he like came up, shook my hand, and said, "I think you're underranking me," and I like that.
Nice. That's good that he's not afraid to throw it out there. Obviously, everyone thinks I think my kid should be ranked a little bit higher. I think a lot of people probably do. They're like, "Oh, I beat that guy," but then they always fail to mention those losses. They always remember those big wins, but they fail to mention those losses.
Yeah.
Oh, but didn't you lose to him? Oh, yeah, I guess I did.
How hard it was to rank Gavin Hare this year.
Oh,
I know. Hey, I put him right back in the state rankings right here. Wait till we get to that 4-win 220.
Yeah.
Too.
Going down at 170, you're looking at Noah Brown, Drake Guerrero, Penn Portage. That's a fun rivalry. Harper and Vega. Both are gonna aren't their big guns, but they're gonna be well coached, and that those two are gonna get after it there. Then Evan Bates, another tough freshman from Chesterton. Cody Crairy's been out for a while. He might, he's been on the verge of punching a ticket. This might be his year. Mike, what's your take here?
I'll start up at top. Early on at the War at the Wabash, Eric McGill told me Carlos Lopez from McCutcheon. He told me the 170 from McCutcheon was really good. He said he was walking around in a Jay Robinson shirt. He's like, I don't know anything about the kid, but he's the real deal. And I think he cut down for the harvest, and I think the cut kind of took it out of him a little bit. Now back at 170, he's a regional champ, 39-4. I think he's pretty good. I like Mario Traficante in that weight. I like did we lose Caleb?
Oh, it looks like we did.
Tough draw for Mark Bueller. He lost to Evan Bates, the freshman in the finals of the regional, and he draws Zach Fator. And if it's not tough enough to wrestle Zach Fator, I'm learning by every week that Zach Fator is borderline genius. He has a 4.6 GPA. He scored like 1480 on his SAT. So I don't think Caleb's back.
Oh, there he is.
We say a lot that Portage needs the other guys, not the big dogs. All the guys that have been to state semifinals or medalists to do well at state. They need the Drake Guerrero, Jeremy Torres's guys to get medals. And Drake Guerrero, I think, is going to qualify in that bracket. And I got Cody Crary punching his ticket one last ride for the Crary family. I thought he looked really good. He looked really poised Saturday, just like kind of flowing really well. I think when you get into those grooves where you're just landing right and you look relaxed, you're not tense, I think that you're able to make a run. I think Evan Bates is going to have a nice career, but I think Cody gets him here.
Yeah. Caleb, what's your take here?
I'm going to go with Traficante because he's so underranked.
Got guts.
Obviously, got to go with Fattore.
It's Fattore, but if it was in Italy, he told us it'd be Fattore.
Okay, so it is. He does have a tough ticket around there still. Noah Brown, and got to go with Crary.
Nice.
Sounds good.
We differ a little bit, but that's the difference between 2 and 3 points.
Yep. Yeah. Especially semi-state. Semi-state's a hard one because if you get the qualifiers, you're pretty much golden. It's going to be a little bit of, those are the main things. You get all the qualifiers. The placement, you only lose a point there. Maybe I need to change that to 2 points for semi-state. Make it so you get a little bit more bonus. Maybe we'll do that this year.
Ooh.
Change things up. So you get 10 points for picking the right guy to place, but then you only get -1 for being off a placement. So I think maybe 2 this year.
Yeah, let's do 2.
For state, we'll stick the same one. We'll change that to fix up my spreadsheet. Going up 182, like Mike said, you got Jeremy Torres from Portage. He has a tough quarter there. You got Randy Sneed, who's pretty solid, and so is Michael Bolin from Culver Academies. Culver bringing in a lot of guys with some pretty good records. Going down, the big name there, you got Alex Castro and Wawasi and Ethan Petoskey. That should be a good first round match. They get the winner from Seeger, Peyton, Kiefer. Seeger, is this their first year back in the semi-state?
First back, them and Attica. They snuck right back in.
Yep. And you got Cade Giargenti from Chesterton. Geez, Chesterton has quite a few guys here.
Yeah.
And they're champs. And that should be a tough one with him and Groover. Groover was a state qualifier last year, correct?
Yep. Okay.
And then Max Chaffee and Tyjon Lockett. Lockett was a state qualifier last year. That should be a good match there. I don't know if they met at the Al Smith or not. I'm going to assume probably not.
I don't think they did.
Just from what I've been hearing. So, Mike, what's your take here? This should be a pretty solid bracket, and this one is some pretty good matches here.
Yeah. Up top, I'm going to go with Torres. He's been in the wars, man. I think Boland's sleeper good, though. He's a good kid on top. He can leg. Randy Sneed's also good, but I got Jeremy. I wouldn't be shocked. So if Jamari Washington pulls that 4/01, but I got Ethan Patowski. Alex Castro is also really good. He's had some tough losses. Those 5 are pretty good losses. I know he's had some good wins. But I got Patowski and Torres in a rematch. They're 1-1 against each other in the semis. I got Cade Giargenti. I think Cade Giargenti came on really strong. I think he's going to be the semi-state champ. He's also the Al Smith champ, which is usually a pretty good indicator of the semi-state. And I'm going to go Max Sheffy, 22-1 Penn over Tyjon Lockett. That's my first one. I didn't pick against Maryville tonight, but I got Sheffy over T-Lock.
So, Caleb, here's another one where you're going to gain some ground here. So,
I got all the same on this one.
Oh, man.
I have Giargenti winning, too. He looked really good at the Al Smith.
Yeah, he looked good at the DAC also.
Yeah, that should be – I mean, some great matches there. Definitely – I mean, when you guys are saying that 2 turning state qualifiers aren't qualifying, that tells you something about how deep this weight is.
Yeah.
Moving up, 195, you have Lucas Davison, and then everybody else. We'll go on.
He's really good. Tough draw for Jacob Bondin, right?
Yeah. Bondin came on strong, and senior year slipped in the lineup, and that's where you get that's the fun of our system. You got AJ Fowler, Calumet fame, about 17 brothers they have. And then towards the bottom, you got Bryson Ford from Benton Central, Garrett Sandiford, pretty good freshman, Nick Schoenveld. That should be a good. Yeah, that should be a good quarter bracket. I think that Ford's a pretty good athlete from what I've heard. And then you also have Rockney Hurley, another good name. That should be, he seems like he's been around forever, and he's only a junior.
Yeah,
so,
I feel the same way about it. Yeah. I swear he's been around for about 6 years now.
Yeah,
that's because that name sticks out. That's like a name that brings you in. Nice job by his parents.
Yes, marketing right there.
Hey, shout out to the Hurleys.
Mike, what's your take? Obviously, I think you'll pick Davison here.
Yeah, I think I say it a lot, and we've said it on the shows. If Davison doesn't get a state title, everything else is going to be a disappointment up to this point. Like that's what he's going for, is a state championship. So I got Lucas Davison, Hurley. This 4 right here is a really good 4. Arthur Fowler, Michael Stallings, Damian Rodriguez, Ewan Donovan. Ewan Donovan and Fowler are 1-1 against each other. Hebron comes to the Lake County tournament, even though they're not in Lake County. It's kind of a weird thing. Fowler pinned Donovan there. Next week at their conference, Donovan beat Fowler. That's one of his 3 losses. So it's Panola, Bondin, Donovan are his 3 losses. Donovan's 3 losses are Davison, Fowler, and Jonathan Thomas, South Bend Adams, who actually got the worst draw he could get. Michael Stallings has been in there, and Damian Rodriguez had a close match with Fowler early on, start off too. I got Fowler qualifying though over Donovan, but I think that's going to be the ticker on match that everyone's going to be watching. And then I got Bryson Ford from Benton Central qualifying also.
It's 2 qualifiers from the alma mater.
Yeah. Hey, Stay tuned. There might be 3.
Oh, yeah, they do
That's
have pretty good
foreshadowing to the
220.
next week.
So, what's your pick here, Caleb? And thoughts?
Lucas Davison, have him winning state championship this year. He has really come on so strong last 3 seasons. Even his sophomore year, he was really good, but kind of got screwed in the ticket round.
Yeah.
AJ Fowler, Bryson Ford, Rockney Hurley.
4 for 4. Look at that, man.
Yep.
I was hoping this is the one I was going to take a little bit. I thought he was going to take the upset pick with Jacob Bondin.
You guys got to argue more. You guys got to.
Jacob Bondin. Can't pick against Lucas.
Yeah, Jacob Bondin just a really tough draw. I was picking him early on to be the dark horse to make a deep run, and he had a tight loss to Fowler at the regional, and then you get the absolute draw you don't want. And I know like the Porter staff probably has a pit in their stomach, but they're not. Those guys don't quit. Those guys are fighters. So it's just that's a tall hill to climb.
Moving up 220, top quarter bracket can be kind of looks kind of nasty. Brandon Streck obviously has a state medal at heavyweight last year. Only 1 loss is to Lucas Davison. Then you got Jacob Jinga, whatever. Jinga. You gotta say with confidence, Joe. If you stutter through it, then they know you don't know it. If you just say it, Jinga. Then you got Adam Berta from Penn. Obviously, Penn's going to be well coached. I've seen him a few times. He's beaten my kid twice. So I've seen that a couple times. And then going down, Kevin Moken, Chester Swoops, Joey Kidwell. That's another pretty solid quarter bracket. Obviously, you see guys with in this so I say you see guys with close to 10 losses, and you don't blink because they've wrestled. Chesterton's wrestled a good schedule. Portage has wrestled a good schedule. Maryville, guys like that. Going down, we got our James Lewis. Probably I'm gonna say you might be picking him. He had a good Al Smith, placed 3rd, I believe. Yep. And then Nate LaFree. Down on the bottom, Caleb Thomas. That should probably be probably the highlight ticket round match there, I'd say. So, Mike, what's your thoughts? There's always a weight that does this every year at the semi-state, so I think this is the weight I picked. I'm taking all 4 from the Hobart Regional. I'm taking Caleb Thomas, James Lewis, Chester Swoops, and Brandon Streck. Brandon Streck for the title. Right now, like if I had a guess, there's only one guy in the state I think that is better than Brandon Streck, but he's one of the better guys in the country too. So I'm hoping that they're opposite bracket at the state finals so we can get that under the lights. 26-1. I know that. What was the score of that? It was 8-1, but we did the live coverage of that. It was 3-1, and I think Brandon kind of went for a throw. And I don't know how much of a thrower he is, but Lucas is pretty good at Greco too. Yeah. Greco national champ. So he got 5. He got 5 off that, but that was a really good match. They call him Rudy. So if you hear people saying Rudy, they're not booing him. Yeah. Nice. Caleb, another place you can, you're going to maybe make some strides or lose.
I had Hobart punching all 4 also. Look at that. Look,
Caleb must have hacked my computer. He must have hacked the notebook that I wrote on my stuff.
No. Swope's got what I would think is the best 4-1 draw.
Yeah.
I think, even though he only has 3 losses, but that Logansport Regional.
Don't put your hand by. It makes it seem like it's sneaky when you do that.
Nice. So. We'll move on. Heavyweight. This should be a fun weight class. There's a lot of good matches.
This is what I'm looking forward to.
You're gonna stay there. You're not like the one guy that hates heavyweights. This should be a good one.
I stayed at the OW. He's a mental attitude.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's pretty exciting heavyweight. He actually gets after it. Wrestled. Heck, he wrestled 172 years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he likes to eat also.
Yes.
I bet the Picorni billet is pretty large in groceries also.
And that's only for one guy though.
Yeah.
The structure. Like,
his dad's a large man too.
Yeah. And he's still Picorni's still growing into his frame. So he's going to be a good college heavyweight. I think he's going to be a good pickup for people.
Yeah.
You got Alex Cartwright right there. Possible ticket round, only 1 loss. He lost to Alex Faulkner. last week. Speaking of Faulkner and Donnie Kreider in the next battle.
Big Don.
Yep, Donnie Kreider doing Donnie Kreider things.
Hey, that was coined on this show last time we did this.
Yes. That Kreider is a very interesting matchup. Just hard to wrestle. Obviously, he's like 7'4", and just goofy. That should be. I mean, you gotta have a game plan. You gotta stay solid, and that's an interesting match there. Anthony Atria, Elijah Tipping should be a pretty good match. I'm gonna assume they probably wrestled earlier this year. Possibly.
Elijah Tipping pinned him early.
Oh wow! Yep. So that'll be an interesting match, right there. And then Sebastian Trent from West Lafayette has a pretty solid record. Not sure where he's been, but then going down, Isaiah McWilliams, obviously he's a favorite right now for a state title. That should be a good weight class, from first whistle to the last. Because I mean, McWilliams, possibly Picorni should be a great match.
Yeah,
definitely
and
body
Michael
style
Foster from Crown Points had a nice season also.
Yeah, McWilliams and Picorni. Actually, I want to see McWilliams and Kreider.
Yeah,
because McWilliams is about 5'4" and Kreider's about 7'4", so there's at least a 2 foot difference there between those two.
This is one of my favorite weights, honestly. At the semi-state level for this, Alex Cartwright used to go to the Crown Point Regional. We did the coverage last year. He's a really good athlete. He's really strong too. I'm sure Chad's told you, and I know that Chad was impressed with him last year. I think Chad gave me the earliest scouting report on Alex Cartwright. He had a really tight tick-around match last year with Brandon Streck. So I think that can kind of tell you how good he is coming out of the LaVille program. Eli Picorni obviously has a lot of success. He's really good. He's actually 800-pound Gorilla Mama is picked to win a state title.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Shout out to the Larsons. I like them. I know they love him some Picorni. Donnie Kreider, Alex Faulkner is going to be a good match. Donnie's just you don't get a lot of looks like that, Like there's not a lot of guys that bring that style to what you're doing, You just kind of hope, and then you see this tall guy, and he walks around the Parade of Champions with just shorts and a singlet top, and he's not going to wrestle for an hour, and you're just like, man, what's this guy doing? And then he goes out there and cradles you up and sets the state record for falls.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah,
Definitely.
He's really tough. Anthony Atria, and I said it to you. The day after he won the Lake County tournament, his mother passed away. So I know that's a tough time, and this is kind of going in. I know they said that tipping match was really good, and then Autry ended up getting stuck at the end. Oscar Potts is a sleeper on that guy too. Michigan City didn't send a lot of kids. He's a real big, strong, athletic heavyweight. He's out there throwing big moves. He headlocked Michael Foster in the finals of the DAC. Just ran out of gas. Michael Foster, tall heavyweight, he legs. So him and an Isaiah McWilliams is gonna be good. I like Bus. That guy's all heart, man. He finds a way. I like Isaiah. He loves Indiana Matt. He's always very polite. He comes up and says he appreciates the coverage. I hope I hope that's a good match. I hope that Isaiah, wins. He wins the state title. I really like that kid.
Yep. Caleb, what's your comments here? Any differing picks? I guess Mike didn't even give his picks, did you?
McWilliams, Atria, Donnie, and Picorni.
Ooh.
Okay. We got Kreider, Picorni, McWilliams, and Tipping. 4/1.
Nice.
Yep. Oh, man.
I will say I'm really looking forward to seeing how Donnie Kreider does, because I haven't really gotten to see him too much throughout his career. I want to see what level he's at in comparison to McWilliams and Picorni. And I have Picorni going undefeated and winning a state championship.
Nice. So you're on the Gunnar Larson avenue of thinking that he also picked him.
Yeah.
I had to walk away for a second. Sometimes pop goes down the wrong pipe and my heart just exploded.
Didn't Kreider put like Picorni on his back last year at semi-state or something?
Yeah, I want to say that. Yeah, that was a semi-state championship match at 220 last year, right?
Yeah, and I thought I remember you saying that he put him on his back or something, and Picorni was was almost stuck there. So
Yeah,
that should be a good rematch. One thing I look at this weight class is just knowing the guys and seeing them. This is a weight class. This heavyweight weight class shows you just how hard it is to wrestle. You have so many different styles and body types. Like Alex Faulkner, big, thick kid. He's going to play football at Army. I hope I did that one right. So he's going to be a D1 football player. You have Picorni, who big, tall, big, tall, thick kid, still not too big, short, stocky McWilliams, and then you have Donnie Kreider, who's 6'7". So definitely,
I think Autry is like 6'5" also.
Jeez, yeah, there's some big guys here. That's one of those things you look at as you think of how. You think, oh, heavyweight's boring, but you got to look at the different body types and styles you have to prepare for as a heavyweight. And to be a good heavyweight, you got to be able to wrestle those guys.
Last year, the semi-state, that's where we invented Donnie Kreider things. I think like Picorni shot like a single, and Donnie like kicked him to his back. It was like weird. But he's so long, you just, like I said, it's hard to get a vibe for him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care. Like, he's going to go out there and go at you.
Yeah,
he might be my favorite Logansport wrestler.
Oh, he always wears his Harley Davidson hat. I think it's a Harley Davidson hat, black Harley Davidson leather hat. So he's a good kid. Definitely. I mean, I haven't heard anything about colleges for him, but he'd definitely be fun to watch cradle up Kyle Snyder and stuff.
Give him a year. Give him that guy a year in a weight room in a college room. He's about 7 foot tall. Then Kyle Snyder can graduate. He can wrestle Gable.
Yep. That'd be a good one. We'll move on to Fort Wayne. Obviously, we took way too long on the East Chicago because everyone wants to know about Fort Wayne. This is where pick'ems are made to be.
Yeah.
Fort Wayne's the only semi-state that really matters.
So there should be some good matches here. I don't think I saw. I mean, it's been a couple of years. I'm going to knock on wood. We haven't had too many crazy death draws. There are a couple, but not any rematches of third place matches in the ticket round like we had a couple years ago.
Fort Wayne does seem to get the worst draws.
Yeah,
they're bad.
Yeah,
they're bad.
Scott Phillips and Forrest Glogowski was awful.
Oh yeah, that was like two or three years in a row where you just got just ugly matches.
120 always turned out horrible.
Yeah, so we'll move up. 106. This is gonna be a fun weight class. A lot of some young guys, some old guys. Great mixture. You got Preston Tush from Huntington North having a good season. I know he was out for a little bit with an injury. Him and Zach Todd, freshman versus senior here. Todd's been in the mix for a while. Obviously, you can't count out a Yorktown kid when it comes down to this type of in this tournament. Going down, you got Fernando Flores, state qualifier, back down to 106, wrestled up to 113 and 120.
Had an article this week.
Yep, he has an article here, and then he'll probably have possibly either Belmont's Andrew Hutker, who's a junior, or Aiden Hardcastle from Oak Hill, who's a freshman, another possible freshman senior at 106. This is where all the seniors at 106 are.
Yeah, it is.
This year.
Wyatt Miller has wrestled 13 the past 2 years, I think. Cut down to 106, and he's huge. He's big, very big, undefeated here. Possible freshman, that Jacob Veach, he's pretty good. I saw him this week. Very impressed with him. And then you go down the last quarter brackets, all sophomores. Trey Sturgill, Tanner Johnson, Chandler Shear, and Jet Boots from Angola. The Boots kid's pretty solid. Has a lot of good wins. And so does that Tanner Johnson. I was just seeing some results with him. Obviously, Sturgill's going to be pretty solid. That's a name synonymous with pro wrestling. Caleb, what's your take here?
Oh, man. Tush and Todd is pretty much one of the best take-around matches of this whole semi-state, I think. And it's going to be the first match, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm taking Tush. I'm taking the freshman over the senior.
Yeah.
I am taking the other two seniors, though, Wyatt Miller and Flores. I got Miller winning. Flores is ranked first, but I'm thinking Miller's going to win the whole thing. And Go Far It State also.
Nice. You got Wyatt Miller for a state title? We're gonna rematch. We're gonna do what Fort Wayne did last year and win all the weights almost.
Couldn't be stopped last year.
It has to come back around sometime.
That time is now. Well, that final one's pretty tough. I got Boots beating Sturgill. Take it around.
Yeah, that one's kind of the pick 'em down below. The other ones are fairly. I think the Tush match. I know Tush was about 95 pounds last year. Looks like he's a little bit closer to 106 and actually maybe a little bit over, but he doesn't look huge. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Tush back down to 106 next year. Mike, what's your take here?
I took Miller, Flores. I took Todd over Tush, and I took Boots also.
Nice.
So one off.
This is
where it's gonna get crazy. I'm writing down Caleb's picks too, just so I remember.
113 top quarter bracket, kind of pretty tough bracket. Yeah, Isaac Weimer, Darren Cool. Cool's coming in as a 4, but it's out of a pretty tough sectional regional. And then you got Cade Zadalik, pretty tough wrestler. He's spent some time in the rankings, and he was out last year with an injury. Had a real good freshman year. Going down, Braden Shear versus probably a tough freshman from Oak Hill, Harper Deadman. Spelled his name wrong originally on the rankings. It's no A. got an email from Grandma saying we misspelled his name. Then
a couple grandma messages.
Yes, not the first grandma to email us. Then the next quarter bracket, you got Joe Just, returning state qualifier. He's beaten 2 of the 3 guys that he could possibly wrestle. He hasn't wrestled the South Adams guy, but he beat Higgins and Garcia earlier this year. So I'm hoping he continues that streak. And then you have Braden Curtis on the bottom quarter. Should be an interesting first round match of Smith, Goheen, and Puckett. Puckett's kind of as many Northridge guys have kind of been under the radar this year. Pretty solid freshman year. So, Caleb, what's your thoughts here?
Curtis over Shearer in the finals. Weimer and Zadalik's a very good take-around match. I got to take Zadalik in that one, though. And you're going to love this one, Joe. The Carroll guy.
Wow.
Got to go Just. I do have a 4/1 in that bracket, though.
Rupp over Higgins?
Rupp over Higgins.
Yeah. I've seen both of them. I mean, we saw Just wrestled Higgins, and Higgins is pretty solid. Rupp, I saw him at New Haven. He gave Smith Goheen a pretty solid match for the first 2 periods, and Goheen really turned it up in that 3rd period. So that should be an interesting match. I definitely am keeping my eye on that one, obviously, for my own sake. Moving on up, 120.
I picked those same 4 too.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good.
trying to go a little faster, maybe.
I know. Hey, that's why I'm letting Caleb do all the heavy lifting on this one. He sees these guys, and I know that his rankings are always really good. So if I'm just giving you like a vague breakdown. Caleb's giving you some real info here.
120. It looks like the consistent theme is the top quarter bracket. It's always probably the hardest one to pick here. Talon Morset from Green Eastern only comes in with 1 loss as a freshman. Then you got Malachi Waters, Fairfield. He was at Prairie Heights last year. Ian Heath, who's a pretty tough freshman. So you got some young guns there. Going down, Logan Mosser and Evan Beasley, possibly. Beasley and George, I'm assuming probably wrestled earlier this year. I don't know how they did. And then you got Hunter Watts, who's turning runner-up, ranked number 1. Pretty much favorite right there. I'm pretty certain. And then you got Zane Standers from Carroll, and another one that looks like he's pretty well the favorite with the number of losses and the other guys. What do you think here, Caleb?
All right, that top one's interesting. I'm liking the battle between the 2 freshmen with Morissette and Heath. I'm going with Heath in this one. Although Morissette, he flew under the radar for a while till he beat someone pretty good. Can't remember. Anyway, so Mosser and Beasley. I gotta take Beasley in that one. He's been looking pretty solid the last 2 years and nearly punched his ticket to state last year. So we'll see. Mosser is obviously very good. Actually, Noah Miller even has wrestled tough this year. And Jordan, yeah, that's a strong quarter bracket.
George's pretty solid too. I know he took standards to overtime last week. So I obviously saw that firsthand. Another one. Go ahead.
I'm just going with Beasley and then Watson Standridge.
Okay, that should be. I know Morissette beat Walters at the Goshen Invite in the finals there, so that should be an interesting one. And his only losses to the Western kid Sissel at sectional. He got major by him at sectional and beats him 11-4 at regional. So that's an interesting one loss. Must have been not a good match. Mike, what's your take here?
I'm taking the number 1 ranked Hunter Watts. Moser. I thought that he had some really good matches with Curtis. Just results. And you get to see Adam Central a little bit. Sandridge and Heath. I think Heath's really good. I know he had a lot of success on the kids scene.
Yep. 126. Some other great match at the top bracket. Another fun one. Kyle Lawson, Jacob Hall. That's a rematch from the Northeast 8 where Hall won. I'm pulling it up. 4th, or no, never mind. They didn't wrestle because Hall got beat by Richard. So they have not wrestled this year, even though they're in the same conference. So that should be an interesting match. Then you got Tyler Lechner, and then Tanner Schoaf probably. Schoaf from Central Noble State qualifier at 113. He's pretty tough. Only 2 losses on the year. The next quarter bracket, that's going to be interesting. Hunter Whitman from Jimtown. He's probably your boy, maybe. Bo Humphrey. Comes in as a 4. He's a state. He's never placed, correct? He didn't place his freshman. Okay.
He drew Colton his sophomore year.
Okay. I always get him and Watts mixed up, and obviously both Hunters with a W last name. So
that 6-pounders a Hunter as well.
Okay. So Whitman and Bo Humphrey is going to be a good match right there. And then Mejia, maybe possibly Xavier Curtis match ticket round. That should be a good one too. Obviously, like I said earlier, Yorktown guys, this is their tournament. They usually do pretty well. Mike, I'll let you start off on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I like Christian Mejia over Xavier Curtis. I mean, obviously, I've seen him a couple years. State runner-up. I think when you see him, I see him at the Harvard or the Al Smith, and they were rocking some new singlets. I was like, man, who is that? That guy moves really well. And then you're like, oh, it's Christian Mejia. He's really tough. That quarter bracket, I know Payne Blackburn's had some good wins. He beat Xavier Curtis a couple times this year. That Whitman, Bo Humphrey, I haven't seen Humphrey a lot, but I know Whitman's tough. I actually had Humphrey come out of there. It was just a pick 'em for me. Scuff, Central Noble, I have him over Lechner. But who's had a nice career. Like Tyler Lechner from Western's had a nice career. And I took Jacob Hall from Huntington North.
Sounds good. Caleb, what's your take here?
This one's actually kind of a crazy bracket. I can see this going a lot of different ways, aside from Mejia winning. I think Mejia is going to surprise people down at state. 126 is a tough weight class, but I think he's going to pull out an upset or two down there. Anyway, that Bo Humphrey, Hunter Whitman first round, that's a tough one. I have Whitman. I hope that's not due to bias. But Whitman, I think he will wrestle with a sense of urgency senior year. Like, wants to get back there. Although Payne Blackburn, as bad as this sounds, kind of rooting against him because he's like that one unranked kid that has been coming on very strong since sectionals. And I could definitely see him making it out of there. Moving up, I'm taking Lechner over Schoaf. Little minor upset there. Lechner's been pretty solid the last few years, and Western's really been coming on strong this whole year as well. And I'll take Hall over Lawson.
Ooh, Belmont. You're not giving Belmont magic. We're gonna get yelled at by Dane. He's got his first special column, and it's gonna be just like the other one, calling us out, calling out his boys.
Austin did have fantastic regional.
Yeah, that's a solid regional. Just pretty much a pick 'em there when you have Blackburn, Curtis, and Lawson right there. Lawson, I've seen him up close a couple times. He's pretty solid, and it should be a good match. 132, the top quarter. You got Ricky, some kind of guys under the radar. Ricky Haught from Huntington North and Adam Ledesma from East Noble. Both have had pretty good years, and I'm sure they've wrestled
I think
a few times.
Wins.
They've traded wins.
I think so.
It looks like Ledesma won at conference, so I'm going to assume he might have lost during the duel earlier this year. Ledesma, East Noble invite, Halt won. So they might have wrestled in a duel also. So this could be round 4. I'll have to check real quick. That should be a pretty good bracket there. You got Alex Barr, only one loss from Yorktown. This is starting to get in the meat of Yorktown's lineup. He looks to be a favorite there. Hunter Cunningham, returning state qualifier as a freshman. Western has pretty good kids, especially in the lower weights. And then down low, you got Matt Gimson, one loss, returning state qualifier also. So what's your take here, Caleb?
I got Gimson taking his second semi-state championship over Barr in the finals. I think Cottingham will make it through his, even though Perry could be a little bit of a sleeper there. Perry's been wrestling pretty stellar this year. And I'll take Haught over Ledesma.
Yeah. Haught's won 2. He's 2-1 with him right now. So this is the round 4. Okay. Mike, what's your take here?
Yeah, I agree. Gimson, Barr, Cottingham. Haught had some nice wins down in North Montgomery. He beat Wilkerson. And so I thought that those were some pretty notable wins. They add him to the watch list for me. So I'm going to go with Ricky Haught, Huntington North.
Okay, moving up, 138. This one got a little crazy. Last week, William Fichter from Southern Wells has some interesting losses. We were just talking about that before we went on the air. He beat number 1 ranked Colt Rudder. Rudder in turn gets to wrestle Connor Gimson in the ticket round. So that's kind of ugly right there. You got 2 guys that went to state last year hitting each other. Top quarter bracket is a pick 'em really. You got Western Dylan Gowdy, Ryan Rassler. Obviously his brother was pretty good. He's pretty tough. And then you got Mason Barkus kind of coming out under the radar from Homestead. He got a pretty good draw there. Fichter, you got Goring, who's had a good season, and Morset, who's had another good season. Then bottom quarter, you got Austin Moore, who was a state qualifier last year. Jamari Price, I believe they've wrestled a little bit here and there in the off season. So what's your take here, Caleb?
I got some really good ticket round matches at this one. Up at the top, I got to take a 4 through the ticket round. I'm taking Rassler. Man, I gotta take Rudder. Taking Rudder over Gimson. Sorry, Connor.
Ooh, going against his alma mater. See what he does? He goes against his alma mater, Mike.
Man, because he's a savage. Because he could have said anything. He could have said, "Man, you know what? I'm not. I don't really feel comfortable. I'm gonna take Seth Burns, B-side." Because then your pick'ems are private.
You see it with Connor. for some reason, when I have a bad feeling about one of his matches, they turn out bad. Last year, when he went into regionals undefeated against Austin Moore, I didn't have a good feeling about that match. He ends up losing. Earlier this year, his first match against Goring, before that started, I, for some reason, had a bad feeling. And as soon as I saw Rudder losing on track, I'm like, awesome. So Gibson's going to beat Moore, and he's going to get Rudder in the ticket round. And voila, here we are.
Nice.
Oh, and that state draw last year. Louise in the first. Yeah, Gibson hasn't been getting the greatest of draws.
Nah, they need to get to pray to the bracket gods here a little bit.
Yeah.
So
the same type of feelings I have. I have those type of feelings too, man. You know, you're like, oh, it's gonna be a tough draw.
Yeah. Last year, Jamari Price, and Austin Moore I got confirmation there. That was a ticket round match last year. So Price was at Northrop, so he's at Southside now. Went from the north to the south.
Taking Moore in that one again, even though I think that one might be the closest out of all these.
Yeah.
Actually, Fichter Goring is another good one. Even more set in the first round against Goring could play spoiler.
Yeah. Fichter has some he lost the East Noble kid twice, and then I can't remember where we figured out that last loss was too, but some the East Noble kid didn't even make it he was a regional qualifier. So, and he lost to Gibson. He was losing to Gibson when he got hurt. So it was an interesting couple losses, but the Fichter's Southern Wells is a good program for a small school. They always produce some solid kids, well coached. So
I'm gonna take him in that one.
Yeah.
Take Fichter over Goring.
And I'm taking Goring.
Ooh.
This is one of those situations where I could see the 2, 3, and 4 from the Goshen Regional all making it out, but the champion not.
That's rough.
Rassler, Goring, and Moore all do have paths to realistically make it, and Connor has a path to realistically lose.
That's ugly.
Yeah.
you win your regional, and then you get just
who needs wrestlebacks?
Don't say the W word. It's illegal.
We're working on something different. We're throwing some stuff together.
So, Mike, any different picks there?
I'm going Rudder, Moore, Rassler, and Goring.
Nice.
Anytime an EC guy heads out over to the beautiful side of the state, you gotta, hope that they do well and represents us.
Moving up, 145. Christian Hunt, returning runner-up, undefeated this year, been working real good. Obviously, he's a 106-pounder as a freshman, going up 40 pounds, so he's actually pretty big going to the Army, former guerrilla, great kid. Should probably cruise to the semifinals. Next quarter bracket, you got Joe Lazier and Elias Young. One of Lazier's 2 losses is to Young at the ECIC, so that should be interesting. And then you got Jake Chupp, Hayden Prater. That should be an interesting match. I believe they may have wrestled earlier this year. I'm not 100% certain. They're both. I remember seeing them both at Al Smith. I'll check on that real quick. Going down. Tri Central making their debut at Fort Wayne. Jerron Grube. I don't know much about. I'll let Caleb talk about that. And then you got an interesting old NHC rivalry, Jake Jenkins, John Rubel. That should be a good match. And then my pick to click, Jerron Kunkel. Had a couple injuries. He's raring to go. He's a monster. I've seen him. Him and Macias should be a good match. Southside, put some couple guys in good position there. So, Caleb, what's your take here?
All right. I got Hunt all the way into the championship. A second one, I'm going to take Lazier over Young. You said Young already beat him this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Was the match close?
Yeah, I think 6-5.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember that. And I don't know too much about Jerron Grubb either, but he only has 3 losses and he beat Prater at regionals, so maybe doing pretty well. I'm going to take Rubel out of that one, though. And, yeah, like Joe said, Kunkel has come on strong lately. He looked great at regionals. And, yeah, I'm going to take him to the finals.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
Would you take in that second quarter, Prater?
Lazier.
Oh, the Busco. Turtletown representing.
Nope.
My cousin from a different last name, but close to my last name. I'm going with Elias Young. I have the same picks as Caleb, but I'm going with my boy AJ Bradley, man. You know, got to get that Muncie love.
Yeah, I got that Muncie pride right there. So yeah, that should be. I mean, that's that first round match. I'm sure Lazier saw that and just like, oh goodness, you know, that's one of his two losses. Other losses to Kunkel, and so that's pretty tough there. We'll move up 152. This should be a fun weight class. At the top, you have Joel Arney versus one of 12 Hemmelgarn brothers, first round. Then another one, actually, it's probably not brothers. They're all cousins. And at Isaiah Levitz, that should be an interesting match right there. Going down, you got this is 2 weights in a row. You got the interesting first round matches. Heastand and Connor Bender. Bender dealt Heastand a loss in the first week, one of the first weekends of the year. So that will be an interesting match. Going down that third quarter bracket's just going to be absolute pick 'em because you got Sailors, Kobe Lundy, who's pretty solid, kind of under the radar. Elkhart Memorial West is a good schedule. Pettigrew and Beeks. Just a lot of guys you don't know a lot about. They don't see a lot of each other, so it should be interesting. And then the bottom quarter is an ugly, ugly bracket. Xander Stroud, state placer. Logan Macklin was a state qualifier last year, and then you got Clayton Fielden from Garrett, who has had a pretty good season, Fargo All-American. So that's an absolutely ugly quarter bracket. You put Macklin and Fielden in any of the other ones. Fielden actually beat Heastand earlier in the year too. Put them in either of those guys in the other quarter brackets, they might be a favorite there. So, Mike, what's your take?
I think that this is Fort Wayne to me. When I look at the Fort Wayne semi-state, that Xander Stroud, Logan Macklin, Clayton Fielden, that is the Fort Wayne to me. That's the guys that's like, all those guys are tough. I like Xander Stroud a lot. I've always been really impressed every time I've seen him wrestle. I didn't watch the match with Levitz, the first match, but I got Xander Stroud in that one. I have Drew Sailors from Rochester coming over to the Fort Wayne semi-state.
Yep, they skipped out of the East Chicago. They won't come to the Fort.
They used to have a regional too, which is disappointing. I think we have some closer schools to the Fort that probably could have been sent there instead of Rochester. My geography out that way is not as good though. I got Eric Heenstand and Joel Arney getting out. But man, I say this a lot, and I like the Prairie Heights guys. I think they do a really good job. You can never overlook a Levitz brother. Those guys are so scrambly; they can catch you and pin you at any moment.
Yeah, they're not afraid to go for broke, whether it's 10 seconds in or 10 seconds to go in the match.
Yeah, they're just goers. I like those guys, but I got Joel Arney, a little bit more savvy. One last run here.
What's your thoughts here, Caleb? Obviously, this is as Mike said, this is Fort Wayne. You got 3 guys who you could honestly say you put them in any of the other quarter brackets, they're gonna be the favorites, and now they're all wrestling each other.
Yeah, there were some tough draws here, mainly for Fielden and Macklin and Stroud. But
Corey Holland for Marion. What if he comes out of that foursome?
Good for him. That's not flying under the radar.
Yes.
I'll take Macklin in that first round match against Fielden, but I don't know how confident I really am in that pick. But I have Stroud making it out anyway, and making it to the finals, where he will lose to Joel Arney.
Whoa.
Who will be?
He's not just saying that because you're hosting the show.
Do I need to send you some Carol gear?
Fine by me. I'll take free. I do have Beeks beating Sailors though.
Yeah, that should be. I looked at that one. You know, obviously, I know I coach with Fielden's dad for 10 years at Garrett, or actually about 7 or 8, whatever it was. But so I've known Clayton since he was running around and really young. So obviously, I'd have liked to see him in that other quarter bracket there. That other one, I mean, I've seen Pettigrew the past 2 weeks. He's kind of he's kind of hard to pin. I know Arnie's not the best pinner, but he's kind of, kind of gives Arnie some fits out. I mean, just kind of a style mismatch. That Kobe Lundy's pretty solid there. I could see a 4/1 there.
He's a very strong 152.
Yes. And I believe we wrestled him at, I want to say 170 or something earlier this year. I'm not 100% certain.
His brother at 170.
Okay, maybe that's what the name sounds familiar.
Young weight class. There's a lot of sophomores in there.
Yeah, definitely. Moving up, 160. This is going to be a fun weight class. Top quarter bracket, Chandler Wanker finally did not get an ugly death draw. Tough wrestler. He's been in the TIG around about 6 straight years. He's another one that you can say he's like that, come from a school doesn't have the tradition recently. And he's had some tough draws, ticket round, and wrestled pretty well. Probably that Hayden Gephardt, don't know much about him, but Wanker's definitely a favorite. He was pretty impressive this past weekend. Going down, you're going to have a pretty good quarter bracket. Christian Bratcher undefeated. And then Ethan Hicks, Parker Bates, first round. Whoever wins that should give Bratcher a pretty solid match. I'll let you guys pick the winner. I know who I want to win, obviously. Hunter Reed having a great season, undefeated. Pretty solid, quarter bracket for him. And then Mason Winter on the bottom half. Him and Reed were both placers last year. I know Winter is definitely looking forward to wrestling with Reed. That should be a good match if they meet up there. Both a little bit different styles, I think. So that'd be a fun match to watch. Caleb, what's your thoughts here?
Got Reed and Winter in the semifinals. And I think I'm going to take Reed in that one. He's looked very good the past 2 seasons. Winter, though, I am a fan of Winter, and I was called crazy last year when I picked him over Riley Rassler, but how that worked out.
Still I'm a fan of Reed also.
Wanker should finally make it out. And, that second quarter bracket is definitely a fun one. I'm going to take a Hicks over Bates first. I think I'm going to take Bratcher over Hicks.
No Carol Love this time. No.
Now that gear's getting sent right back.
Yes. I'll cancel that order already. Nah, that should be a good match. I know, Bratcher's pretty solid, and obviously I was glad Ethan did not draw into Winter, but obviously there's a little bit better draw there too. Mike, what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I picked the same 4. Good for Christian Bratcher though. I mean, obviously last year he had the scary accident. It was this week, right?
Yeah.
1 year ago this week.
Yeah.
Where he ended his junior year. So you hope that he can come on and kind of do well. I mean, obviously Joe has the other side of that. He has to be the guy that has to be the spoiler of that. So hopefully you got to get past Parker Bates first. But, stories like that are good for the sport. Like, a guy turns around after, what really could have been a real tragedy. Sounded like it was pretty bad. So look, I have the same 4.
Yeah. Moving up 170. Some really good take-around matches at 70. Pretty deep weight class and some tough draws here. The top quarter is that one's kind of I don't know who's going to come out there. You got Chandler Chapman from Jay County, who's had a great run the last few weeks. You got the other Lundy. So I know we wrestled a Lundy at 70.
I think it's a freshman. You guys are talking about how he was big at 70 as a freshman.
Yeah. You got Clayton. Then you got Brandon Cox and then Dalton Moore. Moore's been that's a name familiar with Manchester. I think they've had about 16 of them there. That's an interesting quarter bracket. And then the next going down, you got Jake Lone, Lake Minnick. Should be a good match. I'm pretty certain they haven't wrestled. Minnick's had a real good year. Lone obviously has 2, placed pretty high at the Al Smith is beating Jed Levitz a couple times. That should be a good match. You can't overlook Garrett Hetzner from Eastern. I know he's been pretty solid for the past few years. Next quarter bracket, Jordan Rader, and then Caden Freet possibly. Freet's been hurt most of the year. Hopefully, obviously as the season goes on a little bit, he's going to be feeling a little bit more and more better. More better. That's probably not proper English. So that should be an interesting matchup.
What we do.
And then you got Brady Ryro, Jed Levitz. That's a rematch. They wrestled earlier in a duel where Ryro won. So that should be another interesting matchup. And as you said, you don't ever count out a Levitz because they'll put you on your back. So, Mike, what's your thoughts here? I'll put you on the spot to pick these tough matches.
I like Jordan Rader. That dude's a grown man. That dude, I seen that guy at Al Smith, and I think he had to get out of there because that dude had to go pick up kids. He has a full mustache. That's a full grown man mustache he has, right?
He's had it for 6 years.
That guy looks tough. He is tough. He's been in the mix. So I got him punching a ticket. Bradley Wyro, that guy's been all over the board. I know we've had him in the rankings. I have him punching a ticket. I have Lane Minnick because 2 of his 3 losses are to Bradley Wyro, and he has a loss to Kleinheimer. So I have Lane Minnick over Jake Lone. But I was impressed with Jake Lone from Northwoods at Al Smith. And I have Delton Moore of Manchester getting a ticket.
Nice. What do you think there, Caleb?
All right. Raider, that's one of those names that I feel like I've been hearing for about 9 years now.
Yeah.
Got him punching his ticket. Wyro beating Levitz again. You're going to take Minnick over Lone. Feel bad for Lone, though. He's wrestled very well this year, and that's probably about the worst draw he could have gotten in the ticket round. But anyway, and then Chandler Chapman is my first non-ranked kid that I have making it on.
Ooh. Give him some shout out. You're going to give him some love since you didn't put him in the rankings.
I have thought about it many times. I saw the name, but I didn't see any wins over Freet until sectionals. So.
Yeah. Now that's obviously kind of was under the radar. I know he's pretty solid, so should be a interesting weight class. A lot of good ticket round matches, and you could easily see, any of those guys that you guys pick lose from that ticket round because that's
Coxon
even there.
First round is already a tough match in its own right.
Yeah, definitely. Moving up, 182, another great weight class. Looks like a lot of the better matches got separated. No ugly draws last year. We had Noah Kressel and Connor Graber ticket round. That was a tough match. This year they're separated. Graber, his only loss, I believe, is to
Kressel.
To Kressel. So that you might be looking for some revenge. Not really anything that's jumping out that second quarter bracket. Andrew Abbott, Muncie Central, 34-3. You got Kyler Funk. I know his dad was a pretty good wrestler. So that could be an interesting matchup right there. That whole quarter bracket right there is interesting. Jonathan Johnson, state qualifier last year. Noah Kressel, obviously, he's had a lot of success, hasn't punched his ticket yet. What's your thoughts there, Caleb?
I think this one will be pretty uneventful. Got all the champions punching their tickets. I'm taking Graber as the champion, but really, really looking forward to that semifinals between Johnson and Kressel. But both of them, I don't know. I think that'll be a fun styles clash in that one.
You guys got some thick 182s over here. These guys are lifting weights, man. Lifting something, right?
Graber's baling hay.
Yeah. Jonathan Johnson had one of the best articles that we did this year. So I'm really pulling for that kid. I thought that was a really good article done by who did that one? That was
Steve Kroll.
Steve, right?
Yeah.
Steve did a great one on that one. Congratulations to Steve too. We didn't get the shout out, Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Sports Writers Hall of Fame. That's pretty cool. Indiana Sports Writers and Broadcasters Hall of Fame. That's real good. Great guy. Great guy to work with. Definitely.
Yeah.
does a really good job.
I have Kressel, Johnson, Abbott, and Graber. Same.
Nice.
I have Kressel over Johnson in the semis, but that one can go either way.
North Dakota State bound, right?
No.
Yeah. Now that should be a good match. I think Jonathan Johnson's looked real good. Him and Kressel, they'll be a good matchup because I think they wrestle a lot of style, good style together. 195, we got is this Caleb? Is it Savio your pick to click? Your one you were calling a while ago?
I told him Caleb
this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's looked pretty solid. Got him at the top of the bracket. Alex Lucius is pretty solid. He had a really good match with who do you have a good match with? Oh, the Huntington North kid at Al Smith or at the East Noble invite. It was 18 to 13 overtime match.
Alex Lucius like 4 points, huh?
Yeah.
Rocky Hurley and Alex Lucius 16 to 11. John Thomas and Alex Lucius 8-5.
Jeez, he puts points on the board. Next quarter bracket is gonna be. That's when I looked at. I saw pretty interesting. Beck Davis, Aaron Sedgwick. Sedgwick comes in with a pretty good record. Seen him wrestle. Actually, our kids wrestled both those guys. Davis state qualifier as a sophomore. Kind of had a bad regional. In his mind, I'm pretty certain. Obviously, the other kids are pretty happy with their regionals. So that should be an interesting first round match. Draven Rassler and Charlie Agnew will be a good match. Agnew's very impressive. Those 8 losses are pretty solid. Rassler hasn't wrestled even. I mean, Agnew's had some real good losses, and he's beaten like Rockney Hurley and some other pretty solid kids. And Rassler hasn't really wrestled a whole lot of guys, but that should be a good match. And then down the bottom quarters, Brady Pease obviously has a name. And then Victor Lee has a win over G Lee earlier this year. That's one of G Lee's 3 losses. So that should be an interesting, couple very interesting quarter brackets and a couple fairly easy ones. What do you think here, Caleb?
Rassler was looking really good at regionals. I'm looking forward to the take-around match with him and Agnew. I haven't gotten the chance to actually see Agnew yet this year, but from all the results I've seen, he's up there with the top guys at this weight. So looking forward to that match. That bottom one's a little bit of a pick'em, but got to take Brady Pease. His name I've been seeing a lot over the last couple seasons. Sedgwick and Beck Davis first round. That could be 4-1 upset. It's hardly an upset when you're a former state qualifier, but I'm going to go with Sedgwick and Savio.
Yeah. Okay. I went with Savio, Rassler, Beck Davis 4-1. And then really a toss-up. Charlie Agnew had a really nice win over Trevor Bynum of Pendleton Heights at the North Montgomery Superdole. I'll be interested to see Victor Lee of Marion and Brady Pease. I think Victor Lee, I know was on the board early, and so I kind of had to look into some of the stuff, some of his results to kind of make sure I wasn't overlooking him. But I think he's pretty tough. Maybe obviously he has another year, but I'm going to go with Brady Pease also. He had a really nice match with early on with a 220 from Elwood. I can't think of his name right now. Cornwall, yep. Mm-hmm. Real close one where it was like kind of puts you on alert. You're like, wow, that kid's pretty good.
Yep. 2 weights to go. We're almost done. We got 220. This has probably been Caleb's nightmare weight to rank because everyone's beating each other.
Oh, I don't think anyone viewing this understands how much time I just kind of stared at the spreadsheet, trying to figure out where I was going to move who, and getting ready to move someone, then remembering one of their losses. Everyone at 220 is beating each other.
Except for Dalen Hart.
Like Levi Leffers, 39-1. He has a tight win over Cameron Smith. And Cameron Smith has also pinned him in 28 seconds. That's 1 loss.
Yeah.
And it's going to be for a ticket.
I'm going to take Leffers in that.
I think
second one, Shum and Elwood. It's another toss up.
Yeah, Elwood's had a pretty good season there too. That's an interesting match.
I'm gonna take Shum in that one. Now Gavin Hare he definitely drew the short straw here, drawing into Hart. Hart is if he has the same frame as he did last year, Hart is a big fella.
Yes, he is.
Hard to score on him.
Yeah, he knows where the weight room is, and he visits there often.
Yeah, I seen on his Twitter. I am Dylan Hart.
Yes,
Like he lives in the weight room.
Literally, they have a cot. Yeah, that's definitely a contrast of styles. I mean, Hare, obviously, I'm sure he lifts weights, but that should be an interesting match. And I believe I just got a message about something about him, about Leffers. So go ahead. What are your other comments?
Last one, Braden Erb. I'm taking the freshman. No, I am taking the senior over the freshman. Baumgartner's finally going to punch his ticket over Erb in the ticket round.
Yeah. That one's probably about the easiest quarter bracket to pick right there.
Herb has had some really nice results too. I also have Baumgartner. I also have Leffers, but Cameron Smith. So if Cameron Smith punches this ticket and knocks Leffers out, I'm gonna blame Caleb Sprunger because he told me that he messaged me real quick. He's like, Leffers has beat him. So I text Jose, what do you think? We'll move it around. But I knew that was going to happen. Now, Cameron Smith is out there Friday night and Leffers is not. I'm like, Sprunger's got to owe me a shot or something. He's going to owe me a shaved ice. We don't drink.
Yes.
Chandler Strom and, man, I like Gavin here. I thought last year he was just like a goer. He's like the guy that just goes and goes and goes and grinds. I felt like last year watching some of his stuff because they did live covers last year of their regional and sectional, right?
Yes.
I just felt like he was a guy that wasn't quitting. He was giving you 6 hard minutes. So I haven't seen enough of Dylan Hart, but I know that from anatomy and the amateur, I'm just an amateur anatomy guy. If you have big, strong muscles, they take a lot of oxygen to function. So if Gavin Hare can kind of take him in that deep water, maybe Gavin Hare gets that win.
Yeah, that's definitely a contrast of styles. I mean, Hare is I know he's bigger, but he doesn't have the muscles on top of muscles like Hart does. So that could be, Hart will throw you. He'd rather throw you than know you. I'll say that much. So that'll be an interesting. Hart lost in overtime to Rassler last year in the ticket round.
Yeah, Mike brings up a good point. He did kind of start gassing a little bit in that match.
Yeah. So
Rassler kept going.
And I remember, don't ever count out the beard in the coaching corner for Gavin Hare. The beard is worth at least 2 points. So, anyway, we'll move up 285. The big guys, up top, undefeated Dakota Alt. Definitely wrestling for more than just himself. I know his dad passed away right before conference a few weeks ago. So, looked pretty solid at regional. First time I've seen him all year. He had a little issue trying to make weight. I know he got a little big in the off season, too much Taco Bell. That's where he works.
Is it?
Yeah. Interesting quarter bracket. Holden Parsons has had a pretty good season. Vince Yoder and Avery Jones, I believe that was a first round match last year. I'm fairly certain it might have been. Then going down, Nick Connor had a pretty good season. Kind of quietly had a really good season for Elkhart Central. I know he was in the ticket round last year. Then the bottom quarter bracket's kind of a pick 'em here. You got I think Leaper from Eastside gave Alt a pretty solid match. I thought it was going to, we were rolling up mats, and I'm like, oh, this shouldn't last too long. And it won all 6 minutes, and Leaper wrestled a pretty good match. Don't know much about Watkins from Marion or the Stephen All Worlds from Goshen.
I like Chase Leaper's track profile picture.
Uh-oh. Oh wow. That was not from. That's not recent.
I don't know who that kid is, but I'm changing my pick right now. I'm taking him for a ticket. He looks mean.
Nice. That was not recent since he's been in high school. What's your thoughts here, Caleb?
Okay. Got Alt punching his ticket, winning the whole bracket. That second one's tough. I'm going to take Jones to beat Yoder first round. If it was in the first round last year, I'm pretty sure Yoder was a ticket rounder.
Yeah, Yoder. Yes, it was. Yoder won 3-1. I was just looking at that because I know Lawson wrestled Yoder, and that's why that stuck out to me. It's a good memory I have. Because I know Jones gave Lawson a good match at Al Smith last year. That's why that stuck out. Yeah, it's 3-1. I just looked it up.
All right, then. Well, I'll take Jones in the rematch this year, and I'll take him over Parsons in the ticket round. Connor has been very solid this year, but William Schwartz is no pushover. But I'm taking Connor in the ticket round. That last one, like I said, is kind of a pick-em. I'm going to go with Lieber.
Oh, Eastside punching a couple tickets.
Yeah. I also am going with Dakota Alt. Sounds like he's a grown man. And if I'm ever in Fort Wayne on the north side, I'm going to find a Taco Bell. I'm like, hey, man, what's up? I'm going to take Holden Parsons over Avery Jones. I was really impressed with Avery Jones at the Al Smith, though.
No, he put on a good tournament there.
I'm going to take Nick Connor also. And I'm going to take Chase Leopard because I was going to take Gabe Watkins because he won his regional from Marion. But then now I've seen this track wrestling profile. And if you put a picture up like that, it means you mean business.
Nice. We're going to get hype mail from Eastside now.
Yeah. Hate or hype?
Hate mail.
Oh, that's a good comment, man. I hope that guy puts that on a t-shirt in the Pride of Champions.
Boomer is going to get after us. Boomer single-handedly put in at least 800 of the 900 results in the database this year, Mike.
Man, you know what? I feel like I was going to tell you, and I was going to tell you off air, but now we have it on air, so I have it on record. We should give out like a prize for who does the most, because I know like one day I get the update like, hey, someone's posting an email result that needs to be approved. But man, like that helps so much when you can look at it and see. And I know it's easy. You guys made it very easy. I didn't do nothing. So people that are like, man, you did a great job with the site. Much like these broadcasts, I just show up. So, but that's, you know, that's one of those things like, it's hard to search through all the results, but when those guys are putting them in, like I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, I definitely do too. Maybe we will. I'll have to do a little search and do a little database querying to see who put in the most, and maybe we'll do something like that. It definitely is appreciated. I know. I mean, I know I get the emails too, and you know, all of a sudden your phone's blowing up, and oh man, so I usually try to look them over a little bit to make sure, you know, you don't have Brayton Lee losing to Joe Caprino, which I know I'd beat him, but so you know that Brayton tech fall.
Man, you better get him early. I do got a set of lungs on him.
Yes. Well, I do have wins. I do have pictures of wins over. I have 2 wins over Nathan Walton, so I can at least say I did that. I've picture proof. So, Caleb, any comments? Any last comments from Fort Wayne?
No, I mean we're the best semi-state, so I think I kind of just.
Well, that's a given.
Like I don't know the max capacity, but I think everyone should just kind of go to Fort Wayne. I don't care which semi-state your school is going to. If you want to see the real wrestling, come to the fort.
Do that, and then tune into my broadcast, and I'll do an empty gym in Chicago, and you guys could all be over there.
Perfect.
I think some moms and dads and grandmas will at least come to East Chicago.
Yeah,
that'll take the pressure off the kids if the stadium's empty.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Another great year. Nice job, Caleb. Like the guy that did the 04 win semi-state rankings was slacking, man. I was getting tired of looking at the same old rankings, and you came in and took it over and did a great job.
Yeah, yes, you have definitely took a little bit off my plate. Obviously, there's a lot of other things going on at the site, so it makes my life easier. My bad thing is I don't know everything. You know, I'm looking at some of these guys like Gabe Watkins. Like, I'm sure you can name off all 7 of his losses. I've never even heard of him. So if they're not really on our sectional regional, I haven't been paying as close attention as I probably should in some weights. So it definitely feels weird not knowing some of these guys and knowing a lot of that kind of stuff. So thank you.
It's always cool because, like, you know, Caleb's just a fan like I am. Like, it's not like, you know, he was out doing anything crazy. He was just a dude that was on the site that did well in the pick'ems and knew his stuff. And we were, you know, it was cool that you reached out and got him on the, you know, the semi-state scene. And dude, you know, he takes pride in that, and that thing's amazing. Whenever I have any questions, I'll see a result from a Fort Wayne guy, go to your rankings, and it was like, okay, cool. Like, Caleb's got this guy in here ahead of some guys I had ranked. So, and I like the dynamic that we're never, like, I don't like call Caleb and be like, hey, I'm just going to set my rankings up like this. Just do what I do and then do whatever afterwards. I like that your rankings are your own, and we have nothing to do with each other. And I like that the different opinions is pretty cool.
I had a lot of fun doing it. I really love it. I would kind of like do little mini rankings even before I was in charge, just like trying to see where guys from Gymtown would land. But I have a lot of fun doing this, as stressful as it can be sometimes. And God, Mike, you set such a good example over the last few years. Like, I know how tough it is to do just one semi-state. I cannot imagine doing the entire state like you do.
Yeah, you just fake it and act like you know a lot.
No, definitely. So I did hear Sprunger says he wants to challenge you in the pick'ems that for the rankings job.
Sprunger?
Yeah, Sprunger wants to challenge you for the rankings job. Said
I don't know who Sprunger is. That name.
Oh, wow. No love there. Goodness, we're creating lots of hate mail tonight.
That guy's awesome too, man. He helps out a lot too, because there'll be stuff I'll ask all the time, and he'll give me some good info or here or there. So, you know, you have to have guys like that because we can't be everywhere, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Sprunger's always contacting me on Twitter. We're always talking about what's going on in the fort.
He's out of the southern Adams County, little rough area in Adams County. That's kind of where they send all the hoodlums down to South Adams. You know, the Millers, you got the Sprungers. So, well, with that, we're going to wrap this up. Went a little long, but got some great discussion. So if you guys want to listen in later, we can. We'll be back Thursday talking the South, Indy, and Evansville. So we'll talk to everyone later.